Welcome to your Flame Fundamentals training. Instead of simply cutting from one shot to the next, Flame gives you the ability to create animated transitions such as cross dissolves, wipes and more. In this video, you'll cover how to add a cross dissolve between two shots, adjust the settings to your liking, perform the common fade in and fade out, and finally, how to remove transitions if you don't want them. The first thing you need to consider when adding any transition between two shots is to ensure that you have enough head and tail frames to perform the transition. This is the extra source material before the segment starts and after the segment ends in the sequence. You confirm these extra frames by looking at the frame numbers at the head and tail of the segments. If you do have extra frames, you could add a dissolve between these shots. If either one was 0, you would need to trim the shot shorter to create the transition between the shots. Now there are a couple of ways to add a cross dissolve to a cut depending on how you like to work. For instance, you can select a cut or multiple cuts with Control, and using the context menu, you can add a dissolve. So there is the cross dissolve between the two shots. If you prefer using the positioner and the focus point, move the focus point to the desired track and navigate to the cut between the two segments. You can use the same keyboard shortcut, right-click for the context menu, or you can click the transition button and choose the dissolve. You choose the option that's quickest for you. Finally, you can also apply the cross dissolve over multiple tracks using the positioner. When the cuts line up and you right-click for the context menu, you can add the dissolve to all the tracks. Please note that the video tracks will dissolve two images together, and the audio tracks will crossfade the audio between the audio segments. To edit any settings for your dissolve, your positioner needs to be between the two segments, or you select the transition. This displays the transition ribbon above the sequence. With these settings, you choose whether your dissolve is centered on the cut, starts from the cut, or ends up to the cut. You can also set a custom position over the cut. You can also change the length of the dissolve with the slider, or you can use the trim tools when using the trim editorial mode. These two settings are the most common adjustments when it comes to a dissolve. And bearing that in mind, you can also set their default behavior. Open the Flame main preferences and go to the Timeline tab. Under the Transitions header, you can set the default duration and alignment for any new transitions you add in the sequence. Dissolve transitions are also used to do fade-ins, fade-outs, and dips to color. For example, to fade in the first shot in your edit or perhaps a graphic, you place your positioner at the beginning of the segment and choose to do a dissolve. The dissolve will be added from the start of the segment. Similarly, if you are fading out a segment or graphic, the dissolve will be added up to the end of the segment. So there is no fiddling with frame handles, and the segment duration remains the same. As a reminder, you can also use the dissolve to fade audio in and out to match your images. Now the dip to color is a combination of a fade in and fade out. Perhaps you want to fade one scene out and another one in. Or maybe you're doing a white flash between segments. This can be accomplished by using the dissolve transition. Place the positioner between the two segments and add a dissolve. Set the duration for the dip to color and click the To From Color button. Choose your color and click OK. So there is your dip to color. If you prefer it to be white, choose the white color and click Replace. To get back to the standard cut between two shots, there are also a few ways to remove a transition. If you like a context menu, you can select the transition in the sequence and delete it via the right-click option. You could also right-click on the dissolve icon and delete from there. If you prefer the gestural way, click and drag the transition to the bottom of the sequence. Once again, you can also drag the dissolve icon from the transition ribbon. Finally, if you prefer using the positioner and focus point, go to the frame between the two segments and move the focus point to the relevant video track. Press the Cut keyboard shortcut. Please move on to the next video and don't forget to like and subscribe to the Flame Learning channel. Thanks for watching.